Hello and welcome to this special edition of Cronkite News. I'm Kiana Gardner. Tonight, a look at Arizona's racial divide and how police departments throughout the state often do not reflect the communities they serve. A 2016 Arizona Republic Morrison Institute Cronkite News survey found that 46% of Arizona voters think police treat people differently based on their race. That's why our in-depth reporting teams contacted more than 100 police departments in the state to shine a light on racial disparities in those communities.
44% of Arizonans are non-white, but that demographic is underrepresented among officers in nearly every Arizona police department. That's according to a Cronkite News analysis of a 2013 Bureau of Justice Statistics survey, the latest data available.
Law enforcement agencies across the country who have truly significant problems in their communities, I think if you dig deep, you'll find out they didn't bother to establish a relationship with those communities. And a lack of doing that will spell nothing but problems for you when something bad happens.
115474, Unit 239. I wasn't working when it happened. I got called in after it happened. All I did was secure the scene, and I can tell you this, it's a really, really sad situation for L'Oreal and her family. Like right after that, we'd get a lot of people yell profanities at us while we're on our traffic stops, you know, when they were passing by, and it happens with any officer involved shooting. You know, it's not, I'd have to be lying if I said, you know, it was Disneyland right after it.
For a law enforcement agency, we're fairly diverse. I mean, we, you know, probably better than the average, especially in the state of Arizona. Nationwide, I would think that we do very well. Here in Winslow, about 4.5 months, and it's going well. I mean, Winslow has a diverse population, but it also has had, you know, its share of, you know, recent high-profile incidents. One that happened, you know, last year. A Winslow police officer had shot a Native American woman. That creates a lot of controversy, especially when you look at the statistics that show that Native Americans are more likely to die at the hands of police than any other culture in America.
When the shooting happened, it kind of blew up. There was protests. I know a lot of Native people, Hispanic people, Black people, and come to find out that a lot of them, they were having a lot of distrust. You know, there's just still a lot of hurt still in the Native community here. We got a new chief of police now. He's a great guy. The stuff he's doing, I think, is what we've needed for a long time.
Continue to recruit you know, qualified people of all genders, of all races and cultures and background. The biggest barriers that we have right now is lack of interest overall in law enforcement in America. Bad press kills our profession. And my greatest fear is where are we going to be 20 years from now?
You take Ferguson, Baltimore, Detroit, there's a litany of cities who have had a significant issue with segments of the minority community, and specifically the Black community. And that resonates with folks. People can't see themselves being a part of an organization that has a reputation of, or there's actual evidence of them treating someone who looks like them in an extremely poor fashion, unprofessionally, and in some cases illegally. I was with the Phoenix Police Department for 36.5 years. If I were growing up in this environment, you see all these negative things, I would probably think twice about truly wanting to be a police officer, because what you see is it's negative. You got to realize that everybody that's watching this, they could be your future police force, that very diverse, very you know, positive police force of the future that you want to have.
Not everybody sees the police officer as, you know, in a good light at this present time with everything that's going on. So if you have the right type of people behind the badge with the right type of personalities, showing people the right type of respect, and then also upholding the law, I think that's really important.
It's definitely on my list of like what I want to do in life, you know, just because I look up to them so much.
Well, I see and I hear that a lot of people don't like the police, but not all policies are bad. Now all policies are gonna be killing black or Mexican people. Now all of them are racist. They're here trying to help us out and keep the community safe.
Now that we need people, everybody hates us and nobody wants to do a job where you're going to be spit at and kicked and hit and potentially socked to your house and stuff like that. But I mean that's all the more reason that we need good people to come out and do this and hopefully kind of change the paradigm and change the perception of law enforcement. If you feel like there's a problem in law enforcement, then come out and put on the vest and put on the gun and join our team and help be the change that you want to see in the world, kind of type of thing.
In and of itself, just having more Hispanic officers or more female officers or more black officers won't increase a positive relationship with those communities. You still have to go out and develop that relationship. If people are doing those types of things and it's a diverse force doing it, then and only then, in my opinion, will a law enforcement agency really have a true partnership with the community.
Every now and then, what I'll do is I'll go out to the neighborhoods south of the tracks. They're predominantly Hispanic neighborhoods. And I'll play basketball with the kids that are out there playing. I'd like to give them the impression that we're the good guys while they're young. It's all about perception and how you want to treat people. And again, just because I have a badge and a gun doesn't mean that I can be, a butthole to people. I treat them with respect just as much as I did before I was a cop. 3597.
The racial disparities lead to citizen pushback. When we come back, how Arizonans who feel at risk are making their voices heard.
As journalists at Cronkite News, we report on stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickerburg.
Live in Los Angeles.
In Cleveland, in Washington, in Louisville.
From Jerusalem.
Live in Philadelphia.
From around the nation to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
Exploring, it's the lifeblood of the mission.
Human beings are a curious bunch.
What are we going to see when we get really close?
Wow.
Just because an idea is crazy, it's not necessarily wrong.
We were on our way.
You don't get anywhere until you've tested the limits.
That carries an intensity you can't imagine.
You could hear people just, whoa.
Oh my God, absolutely spectacular.
It's a rush. We ask a lot of our heroes.
We are at a remarkable moment.
We're going farther than any exploration ever has.
I'm Ted Simons, host and managing editor of Arizona Horizon. Join us each weekday at 5:30 and 10 as we bring you the top newsmakers who impact the state. We cover the stories in depth that shape and affect our local communities, and we take the time to ensure that all voices are equally heard. For more than 30 years, Arizona Horizon has been your voice and your source for what matters most, right here on Arizona PBS.
This fall.
I'm so excited! What?
From the inspiring to the amazing.
You're in the presence of history.
The compelling.
He said, welcome home. It was just a powerful moment.
To the astounding.
I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
And from the breathtaking.
This is real.
A journey to Mars.
To the electrifying.
We're going to change the world.
All this and more. All this fall.
Oh my God!
A demand for civil rights, protests against police brutality. The national headlines hit home here in Arizona too. Continuing our in-depth series on our state's racial divide, I spoke with community leaders about their efforts to address what they call injustice.
You see the killings on TV and you see the killings locally, you are impacted by it because it could be you, it could be anyone, but if you're black, it can especially be you.
I've had a police officer draw a gun on me before. It changes your perspective, that you realize it really doesn't matter if you're shot by a good guy or a bad guy, you're just as dead.
In my community, there was sheriff's SUVs. They were just roaming around. And like, it was a clear intimidation tactic. It was clearly like, we're here to suppress you, to continue to marginalize you, and we're the authority, and if you're undocumented, we're going to deport you. It seems like they're being targeted specifically because of the color of their skin. It's pushed me to be able to continue, fighting for people that are marginalized, and so that's the reason why I want to go on to law school and become a lawyer, and then do this for the rest of my life.
Everybody, it ain't about me being black, you white, you green, you yellow.
People are outraged and justifiably so. People have to find a way to fight back against what they might consider to be systemic racism or institutional racism. We have an obligation to meet with our oppressors.
I think protesting has a strong voice. It's a way that you bring grievances against a government. The power, if you will, is sometimes by many voices, by many citizens. So I don't underestimate the power of protest or demonstrations any more than the power of social media.
I don't know about you, brothers and sisters, but I don't think I can stand another day of watching our black men and women die on Facebook Live.
I push back with every fiber of my being. We want good law enforcement leadership. We want good local government. And so sometimes that means, raising hell, holding them accountable, holding their feet to the fire, creating or dramatizing our issues, as Dr. King called it, dramatizing our issues, to force those meetings. We're here at the state capitol, the site of several protests that we had against police brutality. We came out here at one of our protests and we struck this bell to let freedom ring. We were out here to demand an end to police brutality and injustice. A lot of these politicians say they've got an open door policy. And it is an open door policy. After we kick the door down, there's no door.
The fight for justice sometimes comes with a very personal price to pay. Community members shared their views on run-ins with the police next.
Cronkite News, weeknights at 5 on Arizona PBS.
Ozzy, the new weekly show where we tackle the taboo and debate the tough questions with some of the most interesting minds in the game. I'm Carlos Watson, electrifying conversation, Friday, only on PBS.
Hello from the children of planet
Human beings are a curious bunch.
What are we going to see when we get really close?
Oh my God, absolutely spectacular.
We are at a remarkable moment.
We're going farther than any exploration ever has.
I'm Jose Cardenas, host of Horizonte. Each week we bring you experts and community leaders to discuss the issues that are vital to our community here in Arizona. We cover the stories that affect and inspire us and our families, and talk to the newsmakers who shape the communities where we live. Horizonte is your source and your voice for what matters most here on Arizona PBS.
I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Our Cronkite News analysis shows that Latinos, African Americans, and Native Americans are more likely than whites to be arrested during a traffic stop in Arizona. I spoke to two Phoenix community members who offer their personal insights on what they describe as a lack of cultural understanding within the police force.
I went to Booker T. Washington School in the 5th and 6th grade. We had excellent teachers. Everybody knew everybody. East Lake Park was a place where you could go and go swimming and meet your friends. I remember years ago growing up in the projects and all around in Phoenix where you had policemen that would walk through your area. You got to know them. You know, you had a good relationship with them. But right now, it's not so good. All right. We'll chat with you later. My nephew was walking down the street one day in South Phoenix and minding his own business, and the policeman pulled over to the side and talked to him in a way that he was not used to people talking to him. And because he didn't answer the question right, they threw him on the ground. If you had a community, say you were in a community that was predominantly African American, you need African American policemen. Or if it's a mixed community, you need that particular police department to fit in with the community that you're in. So I think it would help, but I also feel like you have to have some kind of empathy.
If you get more Latinos, African Americans into law enforcement, it's not necessarily going to result in less racial profiling. The issue is the culture of the law enforcement community. And when a brown or a black person steps into that culture, yeah, they're going to affect it in some ways and they're going to make some amount of changes. But when the overall culture is so dominant of racial profiling and it exists the narrative, even within our own community, that brown is bad, that black is bad, that people are up to something no good, then you're still going to have that racial profiling.
If you get in and you know the people that's in the area, see what they're about, and then work from there. That's the only way it will work. Right now, it's too hard to do that. If you're trained to just shoot and kill, that's what you're going to get in your community.
So what are the solutions? Many say it's taken the time to rebuild strained relationships. How that's happening in our communities, next.
When a story comes in the morning, we're out the door as fast as we can go.
But it's also great to spend more time in communities and produce projects.
From the borderlands to the cities, the reservations, and even the state capitol, we want to get to the heart of the matter.
When the lights come on in the studio, we know our hard work is about to pay off.
We love what we do here at Cronkite News.
We're proud to tell the stories of our state,
Now more than ever, it's important to have a trusted news source, and that's Cronkite News.
At ASU, we believe the most important semester is the one that starts after you get your diploma, the one called life. So we work hard to help our alumni thrive, teaching them the importance of not only achieving their goals, but exceeding them. With innovative programs that embrace hands-on learning, that encourages real-world growth. Our alumni know it can be the education of a lifetime, for a lifetime. For more information, asu.edu.
The true measure of all our actions is how long the good in them lasts.
This is who I am, where I'm from.
If you're on the right side of history, you can accomplish anything.
It's a connection between your present and your past.
Come this way. This is good. This is very good.
We are attempting to fulfill the promise of America.
The stories about who we are shape us.
This chance to go through a time machine.
Good heavenly days.
We should know our history.
It informs, but it doesn't constrict you.
It's a framework to carry out human activity.
The sky is the limit.
It started a long time ago.
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in! Arizona State wins! Keeping one deep, and it is caught! Jalen Strong! Do you believe it?
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box. But the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
The Phoenix Police Department prides itself on how involved it is with the community. This is one of the ways they hope to fix relations with the people they serve. And over the course of the semester, our team went to several events around the city in which police were hoping to bridge the divide.
So I supervise a squad of officers. They're community action officers. And pretty much all we do is engage with the public. Our main priority, not only crime prevention, but is to reach out to the community in itself and the children to kind of break down that barrier and be a liaison between the police and the public. If you watch the news nationally, you'll see that there's a lot of fear of the police right now. There's a lot of misconceptions about things that are going on, and we want to show people that they don't want us to stereotype us into one group and say that, you know, cops are trigger happy. Well, we're all people, but we're all different people, and most of us are good people.
Let's face it, our uniform sometimes is approachable to some people. The car can be a little bit intimidating, but if we're on a bicycle and we're just riding around as a group, sometimes the community members feel more like they can just go up to us, and especially kids.
And then in turn,
I would say it's 100% positive when we come out to these events. Tons of parents, kids, they come up to us on almost a regular basis, and they want to shake our hands or, you know, ask us for a sticker, give us a hug, and say thank you for our service.
I think it is effective, you know, showing face with the community, you know, interacting with, you know, its members, so that way they can ask questions, and that way they're not afraid of the police. You know, most people, they'll be like, oh, the police is here, you know, something happens, but it's not, it's a positive way that they're here.
Most police, like, they try to help, but like they don't take part in the community. So I think them being here is like, it sets an example for like the younger ones.
Because I'll tell you, the majority of the criminals out there are teenagers or early 20s. Yeah.
I grew up a military background, and from what I've known in my background and how I've grown up seeing the cops, anybody of authority has been white, and they like to hold that over you. Having more of a mixed culture in that area of the government, so to speak, I feel it would be better for the youth to see that they can, you know, aspire to become a cop. You know, it's not about your color. You know, that would be amazing. I would honestly like that.
Racial diversity, perhaps more so than almost any other demographic category, is critically important to effective policing. The police have to police everyone.
We're going where there are large venues of African Americans. We've been to Pilgrim Respective Church. We've been to Juneteenth, Martin Luther King. And what we do is we set up a recruiting table at these events or these venues and tell people about the opportunities on the Phoenix Police Department.
And we have research evidence to suggest that simply changing the demographics of the police force, although it offers some benefits, it is not going to fundamentally change all of the issues and the problems with public perceptions of the police. Much still depends on how the police behave, irrespective of their demographics, how the police behave, how they treat citizens, how effective they are in dealing with community problems, ultimately will influence the relationship between the police and the public.
The major point of agreement, healing Arizona's racial divide will take time and effort. We thank you for joining us for this special edition of Cronkite News tonight. For our full multimedia in-depth report on Arizona's racial divide, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org later this week.